Hey, everybody. Thanks for being with me all this week as we've talked about the spiritual truth that we already have, you and me and all of us. We already have everything it takes to live life to the full, to have the abundant life that Jesus came for us to have. Everything we need to have the kind of life that He wants us to have is already in our spiritual supply room. And we get that from 2 Peter 1 through 10. And in the King James Version, it uses these words. It says, we have already received the faith of Jesus. We already have the righteousness of God that Jesus gave us. Grace and peace is already being multiplied to us. His divine power has already granted to us everything pertaining to life and godliness. And He has already granted us His precious and magnificent promises, and we are already partakers of the divine nature. That is our nature. I mean, that alone is unbelievable. And today we're going to finish this little 5-part series in looking at the rest of the things that we have, that we already have. So Peter says, applying all diligence, or other versions say, make every effort to, or be sure to. Now, this is not our trying to come up with something or work up something or merit something. It's making with all diligence, it's applying all diligence because of the faith that we have to supply ourselves. That's the word that the King James word, and that's what uses, and that's what it means in the original Greek. To supply ourselves of the things that are already in our spiritual storehouse. And I told you yesterday, it's like going to our cupboard when we run out of cereal, to go to the cupboard and we've got an extra box or two of Cheerios in there, and we go and get a supply, or we supply ourselves of what we need, but it's already ours. It's already there. So that's the concept. So now, because of the faith that we have, we can go to this spiritual storehouse that's already in us, and when we need these things, they're there. We just go and get them. Moral excellence, for example, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, brotherly kindness, and love. I mean, aren't those all things that, well, they're certainly all things that ethical people, moral people, quote, good Christians, unquote, like to have, strive for, hope to embody in our lives. Moral excellence, knowledge, self-control, perseverance, godliness, being like Jesus, brotherly kindness, love. You know what it means to be like Jesus? You know how you become like Jesus? You already are like Jesus because you've been made in His image and His likeness, and He is in you. Colossians 1:27 says, the mystery is Christ is in us, the hope of glory. But most of us who've had any experience in church and discipleship or something like that, we've been taught that we need to be more like Christ. We need to learn to be like Christ. I've discovered that the only thing I can find in the Bible that shows us how to do that is to grow in grace. Because Jesus is grace, personified, grace in person. So if we want to become more and more like Christ, we're already like Him, but if we want to become more and more like Christ in the way we live, we grow in grace, which means we learn what His grace means, what it is already, what we already have. It's just amazing. Now, Peter closes this with saying, these qualities are yours and they're increasing. It's like every day we find out something new about God that's even better than we thought the day before. They're ours, they're increasing. So he says, we're neither useless or unfruitful in our true knowledge of Lord Jesus. We've got it all. Now he says, if somebody lacks these qualities, well, the reason is, it's not a sin issue. The reason is they're blind or they're short-sighted because they've forgotten that their sins have already been taken care of. Man, this good news just keeps getting better and better all the time. You have, I have, everybody that you've ever laid eyes with or ever will lay eyes with, we all already have everything that we need for life and godliness because it's already been given to us. It's in our divine spiritual storehouse that's in us. It's just waiting for us to go, like we get a box of Cheerios when we're out, and supply ourselves, resupply ourselves with the supply that we already have. That's good news, isn't it? See you next week. Thanks, everybody.